At this time, Girl Scout Little River Service Troop 21737 will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
Attention County Commission and guests. Color guard attention. Audience attention. Color guard advance. Color guard present the colors. Please join me in honoring our country by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard retreat. Thank you.
Thank you all. Y'all may be seated. I'd like to welcome everyone to the August 2016 Blount County Board of Commissioners meeting. At this time, if you'll give your attention to the emergency evacuation procedures.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Commission will come to order. At this time, please register your presence by voting yes.
We have 20 present, 1 absent.
20 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum. Commissioner Monroe has a family conflict this evening and cannot attend. Commissioner Miller. Did I say Monroe? Excuse me. This time the chair will stand for a motion to set the agenda. Commissioner French moves. Commissioner Lambert seconds. The motion is to set tonight's agenda as published. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to set the agenda. Vote no not to set the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, we have 20 voting yes, 0 no's.
20 yes. Tonight's agenda is set. The next item is agenda item B, the consent calendar. The chair will stand for a motion to approve the consent calendar. So moved. Commissioner Carver moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Lambert seconds. Motion is to approve the consent calendar. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the consent calendar. Vote no not to approve the consent calendar.
We have 19 voting yes, 1 no.
19 yes, 1 no. The consent calendar is approved. At this time, the chair recognizes Mayor Ed Mitchell for a presentation of a proclamation.
This time I'm going to ask
I just want to say how honored I am by this recognition. I had no idea that this was the way y'all felt about me.
This time, the next item of business is item C, public input on items on tonight's agenda. Anyone wish to speak on?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Tana Monroe. I reside in District and represent District 7. I'll be speaking on item F7 today from this podium because some have objected to me reading a statement in the past. At the agenda meeting, the point was made that if people listed on the resolution were good enough for the judges, they should be good enough for commissioner. Such a lackadaisical approach is flawed for many reasons and hasn't boded well for this county in the past. The county had to pay a settlement related to the actions of a former judicial commissioner that were disgusting. History shows we absolutely do need to look more into the names that we are given if we're going to protect the taxpayers. We are to consider the views of the judges and should. However, the state legislature thought these positions important enough that we as a body need to vote to appoint these positions. Ask yourself why that is. We have juries because some judges have historically demonstrated that they can't be trusted, among other reasons. We have appeals courts because some judges have historically demonstrated that they can't be trusted, and because some judges make bad decisions. I have had many conversations about judges in the criminal justice system of Blount County. During these conversations, people have expressed concerns about a judge having substance abuse problems. Others have told me how poorly they are treated by one of our judges. I had another conversation here recently that may be one of the most alarming yet. The media should be investigating and the public should be demanding more accountability. People won't speak up because of fear or of retaliation. People in this community live in fear of their sheriff and the judges. The idea that we should rubber stamp the names given to us by judges is foolish and lackadaisical. We owe the people of our wonderful community better. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes. Save it for discussion. If you'll come forward, let's be in order, please. If you'll give your name, sir, and the district in which you reside, and the item on tonight's agenda, you'll be providing comment.
Jim Hinkle, District 10. I wish to speak on F3 and 7.
Okay.
I'd like to start with F7. Okay. I agree wholeheartedly with the Commissioner from District 3, Seat B, whose comments were, where would you find better qualified people than our judges to select these people to serve as judicial commissioners? I have had the privilege of sitting in the courtrooms of a couple of these judges, and believe me, we are blessed to have the group of judges that we have. And to hear someone say detrimental things, I don't agree with 100%. This particular commissioner questioned the credentials of one of these appointees, the District 7 Seat B, and his name just so happens to be my last name, Hinkle, and I'm sure she probably thought we might be related. I wish to assure her we are not related, and I hope you sleep better tonight. In regard to F3, I fully support the $33,054 that's before you tonight to give to the Blount County Animal Shelter to put on 2 part-time employees. There's one commissioner up there who has worked very diligently over the last several years in getting that that animal shelter up and running, and that's our commissioner from District 5, Seat A. Not only has she supported and got a lot of work done in regard to getting that animal shelter up and running, she's done a lot of things for our county and for the state, serving in the capacities that she has. And we love you. Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I have a check that I would like to present to the deputy, to present to you, to give to the commissioner from District 5, Seat A, made out to the Blount Animal Shelter in honor of, and I know I'm not supposed to do this, Miss Peggy Lambert. Thank you. We love you, gal.
Anyone else? Mr. Hammondtree?
I'm starting early tonight. I'm addressing item F10. My recommendation is that the retiring law enforcement officer be permitted to purchase his or service weapon at the going market cost. Thank you.
Anyone else? Items on tonight's agenda. Yes, sir, if you'll come forward. You can have your 3 minutes.
I'd like Dick Scott speak on items 3, 7, and 10. First thing I'd like to say is the last female speaker that stood here at this dais.
Mr. Scott,
yes.
Let's not go there. Let's go ahead and continue.
Pardon me?
Let's leave personalities aside. Go ahead and continue, but
Oh, okay. I'll just say a commissioner who would like to micromanage every department in this county. Don't understand it. She speaks on a personal basis to people who has no information at all to back up her words. Okay? But that's not unusual. She does that all the time. On item 10, I've attended these meetings for a number of years, and prior to the last vote of the commissioners to increase the deputies' salaries, I think they're above the poverty level now, but I think the least this commission can do is grant this resolution for the retiring sheriff's officers their weapon. On number 3, I can remember when Maryville notified this commission of a horrific increase in animal control, which this county and the commissioners said we could not afford. Commissioner Samples was appointed chairman of a committee to study it. As a result, we have our animal shelter now that has saved over the years hundreds of thousands of dollars had we had to pay Maryville. Okay, I think Steve and his committee from the outset has done a tremendous job. And I speak in favor of all three resolutions. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no hands, the next item of business is item D1, Delta 1. Reappointment of Larry Chesney to the Board of Zoning Appeals. The chair will stand for motion to reappoint Larry Chesney to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Commissioner Allen moves to reappoint. Is there a second? Commissioner Farmer seconds. The motion is to reappoint Chesney to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to reappoint Larry Chesney. Vote no, not to reappoint.
We have 19 voting yes, 1 no.
19 yes, 1 no. Larry Chesney is reappointed to the Board of Zoning Appeals. There's no business under item E. The next item of business is item F1. The chair will stand for a motion on item F1. Resolution 1608-006 to amend the general purpose school budget by $1,639,000. Commissioner French moves. Commissioner Carter seconds. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1608-006. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there someone here from the schools that could answer the question?
All questions need to be asked. The chair will
Okay.
attempt to find an
I was wanting
answer.
to ask about what under regular capital outlay, that looks like that's been substantially reduced, and so I want to find out what remaining, which is $859,750, if that's going to be used for roofs, to fix the roofs.
I see the chairman of the school board here. If Mr. Gardner would come up, I'm sure he can address the issue of that's the annual capital outlay appropriation, if I believe I'm correct. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, I'll be glad to entertain your question as the seated commissioner from District 4. However, I'm no longer the chair.
Oh, that's right.
We do have our fiscal administrator, Troy Logan, here.
The question has to do with over $1 million in the regular capital expenditure column for the schools.
If I heard the question correct, there's $859,000 in the amended budget request for capital outlay. What is that for?
Yes.
Was that the question?
Yes.
$425,000 is for roof replacements and repairs. $132,000 is for school system-wide video security type camera systems within all the schools, or as many as we can do with that much money. And $302,000 is for the purchase of new cafeteria equipment back in the kitchen, like dishwashers, combi ovens, those type of things.
Okay, yes, okay, so with the other capital fund that's separate from this, and with that money, the 425, how many roofs are we looking at fixing over the next year?
Mr. Logan.
The other monies, I think you're referring to Fund 177, which is about $1.3 million total appropriations, all is set aside for roofs, with the $425,000 in this budget to add to that. Mr. Farmer, schools maintenance director, has been actively doing that work, has put out doing bids and those kind of things. I can't tell you how many will get done because we don't know the full cost of each roof until we get the bid out there.
Did you have a goal for the number you were trying to?
The goal was, I think, 11,
So you are
11
planning,
of the 11 different schools to either replace the roofs or repair any major problems on those roofs.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Logan.
And
Commissioner
then,
Monroe.
also, the sales tax, this shows a $397,000 increase in sales tax. So you're projecting that it come in at $397,000 over what you were originally projecting?
Mr. Logan.
When we submitted the original budget request, at the time, I was projecting, this was back in May, the board chose to use a 3% growth rate based on projected actuals at the time. My projected actuals turned out to be less than what they actually are this year. So if you look at this proposed sales tax revenue on top of what we actually have received for this past fiscal year, it's a 2.2% growth. So what we really got in the budget is 2.2% over actuals for last year.
Commissioner Monroe.
When you say the budget, are you talking about the entire budget or the original budget that the school, what's before us or for the original budget?
Mr. Logan.
The original budget plus this 397,000. With that included in the budget would be 2.2% over what we actually received last year.
So you were originally projecting 3 and now you're projecting 2.2?
Commissioner Monroe, we're talking about the budget amendment, not last year's proposed budget.
I'm not talking about last year's.
What is proposed is an increase in revenue projection. Is that correct, Mr. Logan?
Yes. We're adding 397,000 in part because my original estimate of actuals last year was below what they actually are.
Commissioner Monroe.
Okay. And is that the case for last year as well, that the sales tax came in over projection?
Mr. Logan.
The budget last year was 13.9 million. Actual revenues were 14.6, so we were 700,000 above budget.
Commissioner Monroe.
Okay. All right, thank you. Last year,
Before I let Mr. Logan sit down, I would like to compliment Mr. Gardner for his service as chairman of the Blount County School Board. It's sometimes a thankless job. This body appreciates the work you did, and that's one reason I called you up. Thank you both. Commissioner
Kind
Monroe.
words, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Monroe, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay, so last year we had a big property tax increase, and the sales tax came in substantially higher from what we just heard. And now we're seeing that the sales tax is projected to come in substantially higher than what was told as well.
Point of order, Commissioner, there's been a point of order raised. Who raised the point of order? Commissioner Cass, state your point of order, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I do not believe that last year's budget is before us right now, and to continue to talk about last year's budget and projection from last year is out of order.
Making the point of a pattern.
Please, a moment. The chair has the floor. In the chair's opinion, the discussion is germane, but it should be tighter. So in the chair's opinion, the discussion is germane. Commissioner Monroe, you have the floor.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chairman,
Mr.
appeal to the body.
My opinion is not appealable. Do you want me to rule? Do you want me to rule? My ruling is, but I didn't rule. I said my opinion. Are you requesting the chair to rule?
Yes, sir.
Chair rules it is germane. That's my ruling. Now,
I would appeal the ruling of the chair to the body.
okay, the rule of the chair's been appealed. Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Lambert seconds. The chair feels like that it's yes, on the edge, but it's not over, and that's the purpose of my ruling. If you're in favor of upholding the rule of the chair, vote yes. If you're opposed to the rule of the chair, vote no. Okay, they're set for the board. Are the members clear? If you're in favor of upholding the rule of the chair, vote yes. If you're opposed to the rule of the chair, vote no. 12 yes, 6 no, 2 abstain. The rule of chair has been upheld. Commissioner Monroe, you have the floor, but please speak to the item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My point with all of this is that we are now seeing sales tax projections being predicted to be higher as they were last year, and that we probably hit the taxpayers with too hard of a property tax increase. And here we are looking at sales tax coming in, projected to come in higher, and we should have used that to shave some of the cents off of the property tax. So I think that when I look at this, I'm beginning to wonder if some of these numbers have been sandbagged and the taxpayers were hit harder than they should have been. Thank you.
Commissioner Daly, you're recognized to speak to the adoption of the resolution or not adoption.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know a lot of people out there are saying, why are schools so expensive today? You can never give the schools enough money. But one of the reasons they're so expensive today is because we have to follow these state mandates that they don't provide the money to uphold. I mean, why do we need 6 principals in one school? And why do our poor teachers struggle with paperwork that has to be done because the state says so? I realize the state is getting pressure from the federal, and they're just passing it on down. But now the tests are supposed to be on computers, so we have to buy all these computers. Computers are a good thing, but nothing can beat a teacher and a student talking together and asking questions. And the tests, the teachers have to spend so much time on tests, and they never get to see the tests. They don't know what's on the tests. The kids never know what they missed. It all goes up in the sky somewhere.
Commissioner Daly, do you have...
I'm explaining my vote.
Well, is our testing part of the budget amendment, Mr. Logan?
They spend a lot of time.
Are the tests part of the budget amendment? Or is there anything on testing that's part of the budget amendment?
Yes.
Pardon me? Yes. Yes. Okay, so please dispense of discussing the test. It's not part of the budget amendment, so carry forward.
Okay, it's taking time, it's taking money. We have to have computers for the tests. Okay, my point is, I wish that we could have some people stand up to the state and to the federals and not teach Islam in the schools and not waste time on these tests, and have some guts and just say, we're not going to do this anymore.
Do I have a point of order?
The books, they have to buy the books.
Excuse me. Did you raise a point of order?
Yes, I did.
State your point of order.
I object that this is not part of the budget amendment. I disagree with Islam too, but it's not part of the budget amendment.
They have to buy the books.
Excuse me. Chair rules that the discussion's out of order. Does anyone else wish to speak to the question that's pending, the adoption of 1608-006? Commissioner Akerd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As someone who has a budget and has to live within a budget, and doesn't get to increase it arbitrarily. I believe the points that were attempted to be made by the people that weren't dealing specifically with the items on this budget increase, I believe their point was if we were to seek ways to be more economical within our existing budget, we might not need to increase our existing budget. I think that was the point that they were trying to bring out, and mentioning some specifics that aren't listed here, but do have to do with the overall budget and the fact that we're now faced with a decision whether or not to increase it even more. So we're getting caught up in the semantics of whether or not it's listed here, but in actuality, we're looking at raising the budget by quite a large amount of money, over and above a budget that required a huge tax increase. And I think that's why the folks were trying to state specific examples of areas that they feel like we could maybe cut and not need to increase.
But that job is the school board's job, not this body.
Well, this body's job is to represent the taxpayers that are to fund all of this. And if all we're going to be is a rubber stamp and approve everything that's come up before the body, we're no better than any level of government that we're all talking about is corrupt. We have a fiduciary responsibility to look at what's in the best interest of our taxpayers.
State your point of order, Commissioner. I beg your pardon?
What government entity is he referring to that is corrupt? Would it be this one?
No, sir.
No, that's gentlemen.
No, sir. Can I address the commissioner's question?
Art Aker, you have the floor. The point of order is not well taken. Continue.
I believe everybody that sits on this board has run as a Republican. We have a very corrupt government in Washington, D.C. right now.
Commissioner Aker, what does this have to do with the budget amendment before us?
We don't need to increase.
Global warming could be an issue, but it's not.
You're right. You're right. But the buck needs to stop where we can stop it, and we can stop it right here.
So I take it you support or do not support the adoption of the resolution?
I can't see raising the budget when we can find areas that can need to be cut. So that's my position. Thank you.
Commissioner Caskey, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two things. Is this money that was previously allocated and is in fund balance?
Mr. Logan, I'm not going to hazard an answer. I'll recognize you.
This budget amendment does apply use of fund balance of $1.2 million.
Mr. Caskey?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, also I would like to say that in compliance with Public Chapter 1072, I will abstain in this resolution.
Commissioner Samples, you're recognized.
Previous question.
Previous question's been moved. Is there a second? Commissioner French seconds. The pending motion now is previous question. If you're in favor of ending debate, vote. Wait a moment. Vote yes to move the previous question in discussion and go to the vote. If you're opposed and would like to continue discussion, vote no. Please vote. If you're in favor of ending discussion and moving previous question, vote yes. If you're opposed to the previous question and wish to continue discussion, vote no. Please vote. 15 yes, 5 no. Previous motion carries. So now we will go to the vote. The pending motion is to adopt 1608-006. Commissioner Crowe, for what purpose do you seek the floor? Not discussion.
I would like to pull myself from this vote in compliance of Code 1072.
So your vote is going to be abstain?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Farmer, what
Same.
purpose do you seek the floor?
In compliance with 1072, I wish to abstain also from this vote.
Okay. Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1608-006. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 13 yes, 4 no, 3 abstain.
13 yes, 4 no, 3 abstain. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F2. The chair will stand for a motion on item F2, Resolution 1608-007, to amend the general county budget by $14,000. Commissioner Lewis moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Kaler seconds. The motion is to adopt 1608-007. Are the members ready for the question? Pending motions to adopt 1608-007. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 20 voting yes.
20 yes, 0 no. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F3. This chair will stand for motion on item F3. Resolution 1608-008 to amend the general county budget by $33,054. Commissioner Lambert moves. Commissioner Carver seconds. Motion is to adopt 1608-008. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question for I don't guess our finance director's here, so for the lady over there.
State your question.
Okay, I spoke to the animal control director today, animal center director, excuse me, and he said that he thought that there was approximately $100,000 in donation money in an account, but he did not know the exact amount. He said Ms. Schenkel would know, but she's not here either, so I'm hoping, could you tell me approximately how much money we have in donation money? I looked on the website today and couldn't, and I saw the SMAC funding, but I didn't see the separate. If it was specifically for the animal shelter, I couldn't specifically identify it. So could you tell me how much we have about in donation money right now?
Dina, you recognize.
In the donation fund, they run every year around 8,000 to 25,000. The donation fund's right above the SMAC cap.
Okay, but it rolls up. My understanding is it's supposed to roll over. Okay, and so how much do they have in that fund right now?
Dina, you recognized.
Just for the body to know, there is, I did find online where an estate was left last year of $69,362.09. So there's probably a substantial sum of donation money available. 170?
Commissioner Monroe, you recognize.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, would it be in order for us to amend this resolution to take that?
Any member can make a motion, Commissioner.
Okay. I move to amend the resolution to strike, just 1 second, sorry. Get that resolution up. Okay. Strike the estimated revenue where it says other use of fund balance, and that $33,054 come out of the donation money. And I'll give a
Commissioner-
reason for that in just a minute.
Commissioner Monroe moves that the estimated revenue category be struck from other use of fund balance and replaced with donation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there a second? Commissioner Carter seconds. Pending motion is a
Okay.
motion to amend Resolution 1608-008, changing the source of revenue from use of fund balance to donation.
Okay, okay, my reason for that. The discussion on the loss of inmate labor has centered around the number of inmates that are in the jail. People are finding it incredulous that with 400 people in the jail, we can't find 2 people to clean the animal shelter. However, limiting discussion strictly to inmate labor leaves out a much larger pool of people that we could choose from. Blount County has approximately 1,800 misdemeanors on probation, and we have approximately 700 people on state probation. Even if we eliminate 100 inmates from the jail because we're being told the federal prisoners cannot work, that still leaves approximately 2,800 people that we can pull from to provide 2 people to clean the animal shelter. So what I would like to do is go ahead and use the donation money to provide them some time for us to all sit down and work through this and discuss with county probation and state probation. And once the jail has had a little more adjustment period, once everything is settled, I'm certain that we can find 2 people out of approximately 2,800 who can, and then there's also community service as well. I was not able to get those numbers in time, community corrections, excuse me. I was not able to get those numbers in time, but I did speak to state probation today, where she said the July numbers said they had 701 active people in Blount County right now on state probation. So if we use this donation money to get us through, then we have some time for us to sit down and work for some judicial reform. We can make community service a priority and use the jail less frequently. And so that's my thinking, is that will give the animal shelter the financial resources to get through, and it will give us as a community some time to adjust, and then we've got roughly 2,800 people we can pull from to make this happen without having to put more financial burden on the taxpayers. Thank you.
On the motion to amend, Commissioner Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was on the board of Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation for a number of years, and the donations that go to SMAFF are designated funds. They cannot be put into the general fund to be used for salaries and other things. It's strictly for paying the salary of the vet, keeping up the operating suite, the drugs, vetting, rescue runs all over the nation. It is designated funds, period.
Commissioner Stinnett, you're recognized to speak on the motion to amend.
Chairman, also another issue with that thought is the fact that there are people on probation and the people that our judges are dealing with. They, for instance, our judges can assign someone, okay, service, public service, but they can't tell them exactly when to do that. So the problem we're having with those opportunities is we don't know if we got 10 people this week or if we've got 20, and we don't know what time because they make arrangements with the shelter to do it on their own time so it doesn't interfere with their personal business and their personal jobs. So you really can't plan on those people doing what's been done in the past with our jailmates, people from the jail. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Daly, you're recognized to speak on the motion to amend. You're next. On the motion to amend, the revenue source.
On the motion to amend. Yes. What I had wanted to say was that in the past, some people on probation have worked there before. Thank you.
Commissioner French on the motion to amend.
I think Commissioner Lambert has answered my question, but I direct a question to the chair, and if there's anybody in the audience, if the director is here, can he answer the question, are those funds earmarked and designated for specific purposes other than what we're trying to discuss here?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner French. The chairman or the past chairman of the committee is here, Commissioner Samples. He should be able to speak to that issue as chairman.
Commissioner Lambert's correct. The funds are designated that come in most of the time, 99% of the time. And as far as Commissioner Monroe's idea about using probationers, as Commissioner Daly said, that does not work because, as Commissioner Stinnett pointed out, the reason it's worked in the past is because we had state prisoners who were in the jail for up to 6 years. For every day they spent at the animal center, they got 2 days off. But we knew they were going to be there for at least 3 years. So they were trained in specific areas, and they like to come out there. If you take somebody who's in there for a DUI over the weekend, you can't take them out there and have them do the job. They don't know what they're doing. And it takes longer to train somebody to do that than it was when we had the state prisoners who were the same people day after day after day. And as far as using the money goes, speaking to that issue, that money is set aside for specific operations in the center, and one of which, as Commissioner Lambert spoke of, is the veterinarian. Smoky Mountain Animal Care pays 100% of that cost, and that's through donations. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner French, you still have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think he answered one of the second parts of my question. Was the reference was we had, and I'm going to ask the chair, we had 2,800 possible people that could, was that the?
Commissioner, go ahead.
I want to know if there's someone from the sheriff's department that can answer that question. If we have that many people that are available to be able to work in that facility. And also, second part of the question is these funds that are in this $179,000, is that above and beyond
what we've heard two people say it's earmarked money, designated money.
That's above and beyond the funds that come in for we charge for services, I assume. Okay.
Commissioner Samples, is that correct? That's earmarked money.
I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you the specific amount above, but this is money in addition to the budget. These are monies that private citizens donate.
Thank you,
I don't know
Commissioner
if I
Samples.
answered your question or not. Okay.
Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized for the second time on the motion to amend.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you go to if you pull up the budget, there's actually two budgets for the animal center. There's the taxpayer and fee-based funded budget, which this year was $417,315, the adopted budget. Then there is the additional $182,090, which comes to a total of $599,405. But the donation money that I was talking about is not SMAC donation money. It's not Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation money. It's donations that come in from people that don't go through Smoky Mountain. They show up, they donate $20, and it goes to the trustee's office. It's a separate, there's two donations. There's the donation line for Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation, and then there's the donation line for additional donations that are coming in that people are donating for the animal shelter. And he told me that the last time that they had used some of that donation money was when we bought that washer and dryer, that commercial washer and dryer a couple of years ago. We used $6,000 of that donation money. And if there, I mean, I pulled it up online and printed out those estimated budgets. They estimate each year donation money that they think they're going to get beyond that. This year, there was an estimated, they expect to collect $9,000. Last year, they budgeted for $10,000, but it looks like they collected $76,000. And then the previous year, it looks like they collected $13,000. So this is, unless I have misunderstood something, this is totally separate from the Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation money. This is people that donate small amounts here and there, and then there looks like there was a nice estate donation last year. So this, according to the director and on the website, there's two donation lines there, one being SMAC and the other being a different source of revenue. Now, was the figure that she gave me the SMAC funding, or was it the different line?
Commissioner Lambert, would you like to respond to which donation line?
There are two lines of donations. One that specifically addresses Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation, but if someone comes in and gives $10, $15, that goes into the county's general fund. And I don't know if that's kept separate in a separate account, yes, or is just thrown into the general fund. But again, let me say this. You cannot touch Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation funds.
Thank you, Commissioner Lambert.
No.
That's Commissioner Monroe.
As far as answering the 2,800 people, that doesn't mean that they will all be available to do work. What I was saying is we have, if you go back to what we were given at commission orientation, when we met all the office holders, Ms. Surratt came in and gave us information about her department, and I take really good notes. And one of the things she said was community service, that the probationers, the people on probation often work at the animal shelter doing cleanup in the animal shelter. I've got that in my notes on what she said and what she told us when we had our county commission orientation. So we have approximately 1,800 people from month to month on county probation. We have 700 on state probation. And if you say 300 in the jail, surely with 2,800 people, we can use some of this donation money and find the time to find some more volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Samples, you seek the floor. The board is clear.
Yes.
You're recognized.
We're missing a point here. The bottom line is this. Who wants to fund 2 positions on donated money? Would you hire somebody at your company and tell them that you're going to pay them if the money comes in through donations? Thank you.
Commissioner Lambert, you're recognized to speak to the motion to amend. On the motion to amend, not the main motion.
I was just going to make this statement, if I may. You can't just pick up somebody and take them out to the center, sit them down and tell them, do this. Even the volunteers go through weeks of education, training, instruction, and even more specialized in vetting animals to send them to their states on rescue runs. Using someone who's in jail on a DUI for 2 days will not work. You just can't. You've got certain rules and regulations of cleanliness, hygiene, sterilization that you have to go through. And it's absurd to think that anybody out of a jail for 2 days can go out there and work. They can't.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to amend Resolution 1608-008 by striking other/use of fund balance and inserting donations. If you're in favor of the amendment, vote yes. If you're opposed to the amendment, vote no.
We have 5 voting yes, 15 no.
5 yes, 15 no. The motion to amend fails. The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1608-008. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized on the main motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. According to the state audit numbers and the adopted budget numbers, the adopted budget this year is 86% higher than the actual budget was 6 years ago. Does this sound like good fiscal management? This does not include the $182,000 from the Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation. So we have a budget that is 86% higher than it was 6 years ago. And if we look online, the budget number right now for the animal shelter listed actual expenditures last year was $371,126.22. Now, it's possible it could be slightly higher as some receipts are paid, but there is still more than $33,000 difference between the actual budget number at this time versus the number that was approved last year. So there was already a variance of difference of over $33,000. So I think we need to ask if he has come in at 371 or maybe slightly higher. We need to be asking, why did this body approve a slight increase and approve a budget at $417,000? So if you look at the budget, it has gone up substantially every year. And there was a drop there one year in terms of expenditures. I've looked back at the state audit reports for the last 10 years. And so we've got a budget that has been increasing at a very fast rate, and we have donation money sitting aside, and we have a pool of up to 2,800 people that we could be pulling from. So I think this is not the time to hand more money. We could have if we'd used some donation money, but now we need to ask them to look at their budget, which has already come in more than $33,000 less than what the actual adopted budget was last year. Thank you.
Commissioner Stinnett, you're recognized.
Speaking with the director, who I think is doing a great job. If you recall back a few years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, we just had a block building over there. The difference in this increase is not the money that the taxpayers are paying, but it's services that are being rendered. People come in, we supply services to them, and they pay for those services. That's the difference in the increase in their budget over the last 6 years. So it's because our directors doing a better job, like all our employees in Blount County. I trust them, and I think they're all doing a great job. Thank you, sir.
Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Farmer, you seek the floor.
Yes, sir. I'd like to recognize Mayor Mitchell, please.
Mayor Mitchell, you recognize?
Yeah, I'd like to address, if I may, the 6 years ago, the situation that I inherited when I came in as mayor. There was a 10 by 10 block office down there. There was a kennels. We had 3 employees. None of that building had been the footprint had been there. Nothing was complete. We were working off of a shoestring, not getting the job done that the people of this county deserved. In the meantime, we have built a multi-million-dollar building down there that is a state-of-the-art with no cost to the taxpayers, no cost whatsoever. We have hired more people. We've hired 2 animal control officers that handle about 500 miles of roads and the majority of the population in this county. We have a director down there now that is doing a fabulous job. Everything that we do down there and everything they do down there is under the scrutiny of an advisory committee that is made up of 4 or 5 of this commission. Everything that has happened, the beauty that you see in what we have down there, including the landscaping and everything, has been paid for by donations. And that's what the donations are there for, to make the center itself a better place for us to bring our animals to. We do have a vet on staff now. We have a vet tech on staff now. We have people from all over the state coming to see how we're doing our business, but yet we're being scrutinized by a commission as being spendthrifts and out of control spending, and there's nothing any further from the truth than that.
I must object, Mr. Mayor. The commission, this board is not saying that.
A member of this commission has made those allegations, and there's nothing further from the truth. I think that the director, at one time, when he was talking to us as the budget committee, said his entire expenditures from taxpayers' money last year was a little over $260,000 out of that budget. The rest of it is SMACF and donations. I think that the people of Blount County are getting a heck of a bang for the buck, and we're taking care of the animals, and we're taking care of the complaints that are out there. And if any of y'all would like to come out there and spend some time and see the complaints we get and what they take care of every day, I think you would be amazed. These 2 positions are not just people that walk through and take a little time every day to clean the kennels. That's a 7-day-a-week job, 8 hours to 9 hours a day. We don't close. That kennel, we have to feed and we have to clean and we have to take care of those animals 7 days, 24 hours a day. If we start hiring people and basing their hires on whether or not we get donations, and if we don't get donations this year, we're not going to be able to fund these positions, that is undermining and taking away all that so many people, and there are so many people in this county that have worked so hard for this animal center to be what it is. Volunteers and people out here in the community. And I just take exception to the fact that we've been accused at the animal center of having some wild spending spree that's been going on. There's been no one, including myself, any more frugal than the director out there and the people that work out there and give their life and dedicate themselves to what we're trying to do for this community and for the animals in this community that need the protection or the services or whatever they need. It all fits together and makes it all work, and that's just the way it is. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1608-008. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 18 yes, 2 no.
18 yes, 2 no. The resolution's adopted. The next item of business is F4. The chair will stand for a motion on item F4, Resolution 1608-009, to amend the drug control budget by $195,000. Commissioner Lambert moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Stinnett seconds. Motion is to adopt 1608-009. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The paperwork says that this is to purchase needed equipment. I'm just wondering what equipment, and if there was anyone that could answer that. And then also, the paperwork is not dated, and this is not the first time that a budget request has been turned in, and the date, I would respectfully ask that this paperwork be dated so that we can know when these requests are actually made. So is there anyone that can tell us what equipment it says to purchase?
Is Chief French here? I don't see the sheriff. Does anyone else want to speak to this? I'm asking for volunteers, members. I see the people there. If they raise their hand, I'll recognize them. If they don't wish to speak, I can't. This body does not have power to compel people to speak before them. Any of the gentlemen in the back wish to come forward to speak? Commissioner Monroe, you have the floor.
Okay, so there's no one here that can tell us what equipment's being purchased?
Pardon me? Commissioner Monroe, you have the floor.
Okay, I did submit an email and ask what this was, and I didn't get a response. Okay, thank you.
Pending motion is to adopt 1608-009. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 18 voting yes, 2 no.
18 yes, 2 noes. Resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F5. The chair will stand for a motion on item F5, Resolution 1608-010 to amend the Blount County Library budget by $36,636. Commissioner Farmer moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Carver seconds. Motion is to adopt Resolution 1608-010. Commissioner Monroe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just wondering if we could be told how much the fund balance of the library is at this time.
County office recognized.
I don't have that information right now.
Is there a rough estimate? I mean, I would hope we have the funds to cover it. Does nobody know how?
Commissioner Monroe, you have the floor.
Okay, I would like some assurance that we have a good fund balance before we vote to spend more money. All right, thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1608-010. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 19 yes, 1 no.
19 yes, 1 no. The resolution's adopted. The next item of business is F6. The chair will stand for a motion on item F6, Resolution 1607-002 to amend the zoning map of Blount County, Tennessee from R1 Rural District 1 to RAC Rural Arterial Commercial for part of the property located at 4741 Highway 411 South. The property is identified on tax map 089, parcel 100.01. Commissioner Lambert, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is that not spot zoning?
Mr. Lamb, if you'll come forward. We need a motion. We don't have a motion, I'm sorry. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution first? Commissioner Melton moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Farmer seconds. I apologize to the board. Commissioner Lambert has a question about spot zoning. Mr. Lamb will come forward and answer.
No.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Commissioner Lambert, do you seek the floor? Commissioner Lambert, are you satisfied with the answer? The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1607-002. Commissioner Archer, you're recognized.
I have a question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If this is not turned into a consignment shop for some reason, could it be a Dollar General?
Commissioner, the rezoning doesn't specify when it comes before, this body can't rezone based upon a certain use or certain business going in. I believe I'm correct. Members of the Planning Commission that serve, if the chair is incorrect, please let me know. It can be, it's being rezoned to RAC, regardless of what goes in.
It could be just about anything.
It can be. What, Commissioner Farmer, straighten the chair out.
I will relent to Mr. Lamb, but no, it cannot be anything. There are specifics identified in the guidelines of the RAC. To say it can be anything is very much incorrect.
Well, the chair's in error. Anything within the definition of RAC.
Yeah, when I say anything, that's obviously too general, but could it be a Dollar General? I believe it could.
You've answered your own question.
Or a restaurant or a gas station. In other words, obviously it can't be a shooting range, but it could be something other than what is proposed, and that would be my point, that if it doesn't become a consignment shop. I was there today, and it's in the middle of 12 homes and a church, right in the middle of it. And I don't know if we have anybody here that's going to speak for it or against it, but there's hundreds of areas on 411 that could be commercial without having to rezone it. It seems odd to me that anybody would want perhaps a Dollar General between 12 houses and a church. It just doesn't make sense to me, but thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Allen, you're recognized.
I just want to make real clear to everybody here that this is not a Dollar General being proposed. Don't misconstrue what he's saying and thinking that.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1607-002. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 16 yes, 4 no.
16 yes, 4 no. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F8. The chair will stand for motion on item F8, resolution 6. Excuse me. The chair's having issues tonight. We'll stand for motion on item F7. Resolution 1608-002 to appoint judicial commissioners. Motion by Kaler, seconded by Carver. The motion is to adopt 1608-002. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 18 yes, 2 no.
18 yes, 2 no. The resolution's adopted. The next item of business is now F8. The chair will stand for a motion on item F8. Resolution 1608-003 to amend the bylaws of the Veterans Affairs Committee of Blount County. Commissioner French moves and Commissioner Bowers seconds. Motion is to adopt 1608-003. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, we have 20 voting yes.
20 yes, 0 no. The resolution's adopted. The next item of business is F9. The chair will stand for a motion on item F9, Resolution 1608-004, to adopt a premium rate structure for medical plans 1 and 2 for Blount County government. Commissioner Stinnett moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Carver seconds. Motion is to adopt 1608-004. Commissioner Caskey, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, in compliance with Public Chapter 1072, I will abstain on this vote.
So noted. Commissioner Crowe, you're recognized.
In compliance with the code 1072, I will also abstain.
Commissioner Farmer, you're recognized.
And the same.
Are the members ready for the question? The pending motion is to adopt 1608-004. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 16 yes, 1 no, 3 abstain.
16 yes, 1 no, 3 abstain. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F10. The chair will stand for motion on item F10. Resolution 1608-005 to authorize Blount County Sheriff or his designee to award an officer his or her service weapon upon retirement. Commissioner Kaler moved. And let's go to this side. Commissioner Stinnett seconds. Let's be in order, please. The motion is to adopt 1608-005. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt the resolution.
We have 19 yes, 1 no.
19 yes, 1 no. The resolution's adopted. The next item of business is item G, statements and announcements. There is going to be a beer board. Commissioner French, your chairman of the beer board, would you like to make that announcement one more time?
Be a beer board meeting September 6th at 5:45.
Thank you. Commissioner Lambert, you seek the floor.
Mr. Chairman, I ask the members for a unanimous consent to read a statement into the minutes of this meeting.
Commissioner asks unanimous consent to read a statement into the minutes of the meeting. Is there objection? Hearing no objection, so ordered. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I want to thank the mayor and the finance director and the accounting staff for the excellent information, assistance, and professional analysis that they have provided me so that I can make an informed decision as a commissioner. Additionally, to the other constitutional officers who have always taken my questions and phone calls, especially the circuit court clerk and the outstanding, dedicated, and overburdened judges who serve Blount County. Also, my sincerest appreciation to the county attorney, whose legal advice and expert counsel to this commission has contributed substantially to more economic opportunities and a better quality of life for Blount County citizens. I will miss and fondly remember my fellow commissioners with whom I have served on the various committees of county government. The Blount County Animal Care Center Committee has accomplished so much, and I'm just really overwhelmed at what you all are continuing to do. To them, I say thank you, and bow wow. These people have gone about their job and worked hard and are dedicated. They've never grandstand or been disruptive, but putting the best interests of the citizens and the animals of Blount County first. I will miss the members who understand how county government is supposed to work and how the Board of Commissioners speak through a legislative process as opposed to a personal agenda and a diatribe of conflict. I will miss those who have put forth the effort to adequately prepare for our meetings by seeking answers before the meeting. And to the members who respect the staff and realize that they are performing a necessary service to the public and that the requests of commissioners are taking away from the services that would otherwise be available to our citizens. I will miss the commissioners who respect and support our law enforcement officers who daily risk their lives to keep the public safe. To the Blount County deputies who are led by an outstanding and professionally acclaimed sheriff, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. I will miss the commissioners who support our teachers, principals, students, school board members by providing resources to make our schools healthy and safer places to learn and to work. I will miss those commissioners who have supported the Blount County Industrial Board, which has provided record job growth and capital investment within our county, and in turn, increasing the commercial tax base of our community and lessening the financial strain on our senior citizens. As I retire, I pledge to my fellow commissioners that I will use my experience and my resources to support those of you who have been a positive force for the continued success of this county. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God bless America. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
That was great.
Are there any other statements for announcements? Next item on the agenda is item 8. Input on items not on tonight's agenda. If you'll come forward, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Dave Bennett, and I am Commissioner-elect from District 5A.
I love you.
I love you too, Peggy.
It's be in order.
I'd like to make two statements. First of all, I'd like to agree with everything that Commissioner Lambert just said, and I'd like to thank her for her dedication to this community. She has served with distinction and with honor, and I can only hope that I can try to fill the shoes that she has left, and it will be an honor to try. The second thing I'm going to say is that Bennett's coming September 1st, and I intend to take the garbage out, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman and Board of Commissioners. I didn't really expect to speak tonight, but I so feel inclined. I would like to thank commissioners too. Every one of you guys, you know. You got to stand up there and do what you're supposed to be doing for the best of your community. But I would exceptionally, and maybe at this point I should pause and say, I might have a conflict of interest. There, I went ahead and said it. But you know what? I would especially like to thank those commissioners that will have the dialogue to protect me as Troy Ball from District 7 and Joe Taxpayer from Blount County. Government is supposed to be that very thing. It's not supposed to be all in favor say aye unanimously. You're there to have dialogue. You're there to have disagreement. If we didn't have disagreement, and not even disagreement, but debate, that you fundamentally do not have a republic. And so just think of that and keep that in your heart. Thank you.
Someone else in the back. I saw a hand in the back. If you'll come forward, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners. I just wanted to speak today.
Introduce yourself, please.
My name's Angela Bailey from District 6. I just want to speak briefly on a new animal control ordinance that's going to be presented by the director of the Animal Control Center. Thank you so much for giving this issue the time and attention that it deserves. My daughter on March 17th was viciously attacked by a neighbor's dog. She was outside playing, and this was an unprovoked attack. She received significant injuries to her both lower extremities, to her left arm, her left shoulder, her back, her behind. She needed emergency surgery. As I kissed her as she went back for emergency surgery, I was praying to God that everything would be okay. And I made a promise to her that when she returned home, that dog would no longer be there. It never crossed my mind that after such a vicious attack, there could be any other possibility than that dog would not be there. During her surgery, that I was told would only last an hour, I was approached by an officer nearly 4 hours later while she was still in surgery. He informed me that they were unable to secure the dog into their possession due to the owner's refusal, but that it was confirmed the dog had 0 vaccinations, even though the owner was breeding and selling dogs. He went on to tell me the owner refused to allow them to investigate at all and was being very belligerent and uncooperative. The gravity of what I was being told sunk in, and I was in shock and devastated. What was I supposed to tell my little girl, and how could this be allowed? She not only carries the physical scars that cover her body from this attack, but she now suffers from anxiety, night terrors, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Her innocence was taken from her way too soon at only 7 years old. My little girl could be any child in our community, and this is not acceptable. Due to our current outdated animal control ordinance, the animal control officers had done all that was in their power to do, yet it was not enough and left our community at risk. I firmly believe that accountability and responsibility are very important and that both apply to every facet of life. This even applies to being a responsible pet owner. This ordinance will provide those whom we entrust to uphold laws and regulations for human and animal decency, the latitude they need to hold people accountable. This ordinance will help to ensure responsible animal ownership for those with an animal that has been aggressive. This ordinance may have prevented my daughter from being attacked 5 months ago and can prevent others in our community from ever having to experience this nightmare. We have a responsibility to our community, both humans and animals, to do all we can to keep them as safe as possible.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey. Your time's expired. Thank you for your message. Anyone else? If you'll come forward, please.
Hello, thank you for your time. My name is Jennifer Kim, and I too have a son who was mauled in the community by a dog, and I feel like the current ordinance we have on the books is flawed. I think that the ordinance does not protect our kids or our citizens in the community, and by revising it, we will be able to further protect our citizens. My son, he was brutally mauled at the trauma level. His face was nearly degloved. He had to have several surgeries and will undergo plenty more in the future. This happened 3 years ago. He too suffers from PTSD. He has severe anxiety. I have to homeschool him now because of this incident. I hope that you will all consider revising the current ordinance that's on the books and take into consideration public safety, because public safety is what really matters here. Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Hammondtree? I'll go ahead and make your identification. Thank you.
James Hammondtree, District 2. There is an organization, Pets for Patriots, that will help veterans adopt dogs. You have to send your DD-214 to the organization, and once you get approved, you take a letter to the animal center or wherever you're going to get your animal, and once you adopt your animal, they're called companion animals, so you can adopt a cat as well, and they will send you 2 cards worth $75 each to buy food and supplies to get you going. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All the way in the back.
Brad Bryant from District 10. As the chaplain coordinator for the Blount County Sheriff's Office, I just want to say thank you for approving the resolution to award an officer their service weapon upon retirement. I've served the Sheriff's Office for 15 years as a volunteer, and I can say that not only is this appreciated, but it is very much deserved. And I just want to say I'm so grateful for your support for Sheriff Barong and Chief French and the entire staff at the Blount County Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Dick Scott, District 10. And before you start my 3 minutes, can I ask a question?
That's part of your 3 minutes. Better ask.
Okay. Since the commissioner made a political statement this evening during the session, is it permissible for the audience to make political statements?
Sir, as long as you're not personally attacking a member of this body, you have the floor.
Okay. I'd like to say then, I don't agree with the commissioner that Washington is corrupt. Is there corruption? Yes, there's corruption everywhere. Doesn't mean that everybody in Washington, D.C. is a corrupt individual. And that statement should never be made. Okay? He doesn't know everybody there, nor do I. Secondly, same individual made a statement. If you don't agree with him as commissioners, you're a rubber stamp. I hope you all understand that statement. And it's made on occasion here by commissioners, okay, when the board doesn't agree with them by majority vote. Okay? I would like all you commissioners to understand and think about it. When you're called a rubber stamp, he's insulting your integrity. I've attended these commissioner meetings for 10 years now. In my opinion, the majority of the time, with the exception of a commissioner here and there, vote their honestly held convictions. They are rubber stamping no one. Okay? And I would like to see that discontinued. Any of you commissioners have no business calling the rest of this board a rubber stamp. Thank you.
Anyone? Let's be in order. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is Mike Akerd. I live in District 2 and represent District 2. During our term thus far, we have approved 100% of the requests for funds by any committee that has come before us. That doesn't necessarily mean rubber stamping, because we are all supposed to be thinking about what we're saying, what we're voting. What I have referred to by rubber stamping during my tenure is when we're told by any member of this body that this is what the committee recommended, so this is what we do. And if that is ever our position, then we're not needed, because the committees have already approved it. So we should be thinking about all of them. If we vote in the affirmative, that's wonderful, but it should not ever be because the committee that presented it to us has already approved it. Otherwise, our job is meaningless. I have voted to spend money and I voted to say no to money based on what I feel like is in the taxpayers' best interest. But it hasn't ever been because the committee already approved it or there was a stamp there that said the school board's already approved it. That goes without saying. And my purpose for saying rubber stamp meant no offense to anybody on this board but an attitude. The attitude that because it was already approved, we automatically approve it is inappropriate. That's not what our jobs here are supposed to be. And I do mean no disrespect to any member on this board, except for when something like that has come up. And that has been the only time that I've responded in that way, is when someone has brought it up in that manner. I thank you very much for your time.
Anyone else?
Since there was talk about taking out the garbage, now's an appropriate time. Just because, to mention something, just because someone questions the spending does not mean that they're making personal attacks. That's our job. When I pulled the audit reports, I spent days and I went through numbers and I wrote down things, and I didn't take this decision lightly. I did a lot of research. I talked to a lot of people, and I got a lot of numbers. I talked to a lot of people within the community, asked them a lot of questions, and I went back and listened to some old commission tapes. And in 2011, a member of a volunteer organization that donates money came forward and told this body that it was their goal to make this animal department revenue positive. Y'all might go back and watch that video. That clearly has not happened for a number of reasons. But me looking at the numbers, I went back and looked and saw that we're spending over 300% more for this than we were a decade ago. We're spending 86% more than we were 6 years ago. And the comment was made, do you really want to go out and hire people based on donation money? Well, isn't the shelter vet hired with donation money from the Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation? That's a wonderful thing. So the simple fact that I point out some budget numbers and gave some percentages, that's the kind of thing that we should be as a county commission looking at. We should be running numbers. And that is part of our job as protecting the taxpayers. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing no hands, we'll move to item I, adjournment without objection. We're adjourned.